Adam Watts, Unfiltered and Caffeinated, podcast, episode 3. I love the rain. It's raining right now. Just a few days ago it was super hot, and now it's raining, and I just, the air is alive with water. Just the feeling it gives you. The sky is dark, so everything's a different color, and if you're affected by color, then you're affected by that emotionally, and then everything smells different. Even the smell of dirty concrete is like kind of good because of rain. It's nice. The only thing about rain that sucks is when you wear glasses and you get the little rain droplets on your glasses. Really takes the fun out of rain. It makes you feel like an idiot. Because usually glasses, you forget that you're wearing them. And the other thing is here's some advice. Never throw something in the trash with style. With a certain amount of like flair and arrogance and like, hey, foo. Unless you're absolutely sure it's going to go in the trash, especially in public. Because I just did that. My car was super dirty, and I happened to have a bag. And so I put all of the trash from the passenger seat of my car in this bag. And there was a pretty large trash can in front of this liquor store where I was about to buy some Red Bulls. And I walked up pretty close to it, swung the bag up with some style points and threw it in as I sort of looked away and already started to walk towards the entrance. And multiple pieces of trash flew out onto the ground. And I felt like a super idiot because of how I did it with this cocky flair. And then I had to go and be like, oh, but I'm a good citizen. And like I walked over and picked up the pieces of trash and put it in. And it was right on a major street. I didn't look around. Probably nobody saw it, but I saw it and I felt it, and it was stupid. So if you're going to throw something in the trash and be cool about it, make sure you get it in, or you're just going to really blow it. But what I was really thinking about is mixed martial arts, MMA, UFC. I don't know if any of you guys are interested in that, but I've been a fan of it since it first started, basically. I remember I rented video cassettes from Blockbuster Video of the very first UFCs when there was that fight of like a 600-pound sumo wrestler against a karate guy, and the karate guy just ends up breaking his hand on the guy's head. Craziness like that I was curious about and found it hard to watch, but loved it. I've been interested in martial arts since I was a little guy. I took karate, Kenpo karate, and rose up the ranks to my blue belt, inspired by Karate Kid. And I had one move. It was like we'd spar, and I had this semi-Karate Kid move where I would like fake a right kick and then come up with a left kick, and I'd always win. And then I just sort of got out of it. But there's something about, over the last few years, I've gotten way more into it. It's the only sport that I watch and that I'm interested in, and I don't know how I would describe why I like it. Yes, I do. I love it because I think anybody who's been really driven to do something, whether it's succeed in business or, in my case, to succeed as an artist in business, but also just to become better and better at what I do, and more efficient in expressing myself, just getting to the heart of what it is that I feel I need to say through the arts, because I can't say it in any other way. That's a fight, and it always has been. It's you're fighting often yourself, and then often you end up fighting against your perceptions about how other people perceive you, or the limitations that you find around you just situationally in business and in relationships. And often the fight with yourself, with myself, has been a fight against a lack of talent, like something that I really wanted to express, and I didn't have the tools yet to express it, but I had the vision of what I wanted to express. And early on it was drumming. It was like knowing what it was that I wanted to say and play, but feeling like I could never do it at the level of perfection and level of that combining of a level of technical proficiency that matches the level of intensity of like emotion. That's when that's like the pinnacle, I think, of the arts, is when there's nothing in the way of there's no technical thing in the way of what you're trying to express. And often what I would want to express involved a lot of skill. And then as I became a songwriter and a producer and a singer and a mixer and all those things, the same fight was in place of just wanting to having something, a vision. When I say a vision, sometimes that means something very specific about like what I want something to sound like or feel like, and it can be, something I could actually explain. And then a lot of times it's that pregnant feeling of like something's got to be born, and it's just this completely nondescript, just goo of gush in your gut that's just like, ugh, I gotta get this out. You don't even know what it is, but you just know that each decision you make, as long as it's passionate and confident and filled with, I don't know, that instinctual drive, is going to get you there. And you run into those roadblocks of like, whether it's a skill roadblock or a technical roadblock of some kind. And it's a fight, man. It's to me, it's been the most frustrating thing in my life is to run up against those roadblocks when you feel like you need to say something through a song, or a vocal, a drum performance, a mix, anything. That barrier, that glass ceiling you inevitably hit is a battle. It's a fight. And when you get to the point where you can win those battles, or there's no battle at all, and you just go from start to finish of being in the zone, and you sort of wake up at the end of a day or the end of 3, 4, 5 hours of work and just go like, wow, what was that? And you just relax and feel that feeling of having accomplished that and gotten that thing out. That's winning the fight in a lot of ways. And then just like the validation of success in more of an external sense, having somebody enjoy your work or be obviously moved by it, or experiencing record sales and getting paid for your work, all those things are validating in their own little ways, and those are in a lot of ways victories. And there's something about, to bring it back to the whole mixed martial arts thing, there's something about the literal fight, which I think all of us have in us to varying degrees. That survival instinct, that fight or flight instinct, that desire to know how you measure up against yourself and someone else, or whatever that is. It's extremely literal, obviously, when it comes to mixed martial arts. It's just two people in there, and each of those people are fighting in a fight with themselves and the other person, and it's guaranteed that one, or virtually guaranteed that one will win and one will lose, or you have a draw, or someone pokes you in the eye and then something weird happens. But you know what I mean. And I find that fascinating, because even though Meryl Streep recently said that MMA isn't an art, I find myself attracted to the underlying tensions, that are involved in a literal fight that involve such skill. And when you think about what the kind of emotion that's at stake when in a fight like that, where you've built up all these different skill sets, that previously I think were all considered sort of separate, boxing, kickboxing, karate, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, all the different kinds of wrestling, judo, what am I missing? All the things, taekwondo, all those things mixed together. There's a beauty to that that's almost like dance. There's an expressive art to it, for sure. And then that battle that we face against the self and the emotion we go through and the way that emotion shows in our efforts, that's an art. And I think most things that you do in life, like I was talking about before, a craft or a sport can I think be elevated to the level of an art depending on how you do it, how you approach it. Like that quote that's all over our Broken City websites. He who works with his hands is a laborer. He who works with his hands and his head is a craftsman. He who works with his hands and his head and his heart is an artist. That to me, it really puts a little bing on it, because it's so true. And you can do most things with that. You can be a dad as an artist. You can be a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Excuse me. To the level of art, almost. And your relationship is the art. And being an artist is how you create that relationship. Gets a little abstract. So it's simpler to think of the arts as in the more classic kind of a sense, a painting, a piece of music, a film, whatever, but it's not that simple. And I'm just fascinated by the level of discipline and all those psychological aspects that go on in fighting, and I can't get enough. You ever find yourself talking and only a certain percentage of what you're meaning to say is actually coming out? That's what I feel like right now. So maybe I should press pause. I would like to talk for just a short, quick moment about trends and trendiness and the zeitgeist of things and stuff. I get annoyed by trends. I do my very best not to follow them. And I think the litmus test for trends, for how to avoid being sucked into trendiness, because trendiness is not next to godliness. Trendiness is next to the opposite of timelessness. If you're following trends, you're setting yourself up to fail. Unless you somehow are one of those genius trend followers, like, say, Madonna in her prime or whoever. You can pick your trend setter or follower or whatever, but those people eventually get old, and then inevitably they can't keep up because they look old, and all the young people go, look at her trying to be cool no matter what she's doing, and then she feels that pressure, or he, and then they go and have to get lots of plastic surgery, and then they start looking like a complete fool who's trying too hard. So the litmus test, if that's the right word for it, is that, a bag just fell over as I made a turn because I'm stopping to get Red Bull, so this can be even more caffeinated. The litmus test to me is jeans. Think about it. There's always jeans. Okay? So if you can think about it, what jeans throughout time can you still wear? Or what's the way to pick jeans so that as you go through the various trends in fashion, you're always wearing a pair of jeans that doesn't look like you're trying too hard to follow the trends, but it also doesn't look like you're stuck in the past and you're an idiot and you're unaware of what even looks good at all. It's a very fine line. Like, you can't just put a pair of Wranglers on and pull them up and tuck your shirt in and expect that to just work. But on the other hand, if you got the like whitewashed, acid washed, factory made holes in them, slight bell bottom pants that maybe the hipster bro country guys were wearing for a while and maybe still wear, you're going to have trouble, because you're going to look back on those pictures, and like I look back at my senior picture in high school at my mullet and I just go, But there's a way to pick jeans in every era where you don't go too far. You go with it a little bit. Maybe you get the ones that have just that little bit of light part on the thigh. Maybe you just go by the way they're fitting. Are we fitting a little tighter these days or a little on the looser side? But you don't go all the way. You don't go full skinny jeans, and you don't go full MC Hammer or whatever it was. You don't go full loose with your boxers hanging out. Those are all things that you're going to regret. But if you can find that sweet spot with jeans, first of all, you may be able to wear your jeans beyond the trend change. Second of all, you're not going to regret it. So you might save money, and you won't regret the way you used to look. Excuse me. And you'll be exercising that muscle for how to not be a blind and desperate trend follower. So now let's take this over into, let's say, a snare sound. How do you follow the trend? How do you stay current with a snare sound? Well, you do the same thing you would do with jeans. You just don't go to the extreme. You look at what's emotionally valid and like what actually works and is enhancing the music. Like, what's an update that's been like, whether it's the way a piece of gear is used or whatever it might be. For example, some eras favor really fat snare sounds. Some favor really tight snare sounds. You have like 311 and the Police. Totally different eras, but both favored that really cranked up snare. And then you have guys like Jay Bellerose or certain, big ballads from the 80s or whatever that had the big fat low-tuned drums with a lot of reverb on it. Or in the case of somebody like Jay Bellerose, you should Google him. He's into like vintage drums and big fat sounds where he's hitting really quiet, but it's recorded in a way that makes it sound huge. Often recorded by T-Bone Burnett, or produced by him rather. Recorded by somebody else on his staff. And possibly hit with a mallet. So how do you got to just figure out like how to not sell out and be aware of what has come quickly into existence and everybody's freaking out about it, versus what is a mainstay and will always work and is connected to what's real, as opposed to something that's manufactured, whether it's technically manufactured in the sense that it's like, oh, look at this new piece of gear, it does this crazy thing, let's all use it. Or whether it's, something that's been, manufactured through just being so different than what came before that it's like fresh all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So you just got to watch out. Whether it's jeans or a snare sound or it's hair. When's crimping going to come back? Did it come back for a while? Girls crimping their hair and maybe a few guys. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it back. Just crimp a little bit. Just the front. Maybe color it completely white like Jay Leno and have a crimped white skunky piece of hair right at the front. It might get as big as Jennifer Aniston's hair did. I don't know, but I think I do. You gotta watch it. Don't chase the trends. Oh, and hip-hop music, like the 808. Whoever invented the boom, and even the 808 snare, those things have sort of, just like rock-sounding drums, those are the genes of hip-hop drums. The 808 kick and snare, right? People have tweaked them, whatever. They've messed with it. They've mixed it differently. They've put reverb on it. They've kept it dry. They've distorted it. They've left it clean with regards to the 808 kick. But you stay true to it. Like you don't try to reinvent the wheel, or in the case of maybe building a home, you don't try to reinvent the brick or the 2x4. You just try to use it in a new way. But keep in mind that you're always in danger of selling out to what just seems like it's amazing right now. And that can lead to things. There are people who, like I said earlier, whether it's a producer, an artist, or a filmmaker or whatever, who are just, they live for that, for being on the edge of trends. Electronic music lately has been known for that. In that world, the turnover is weeks. You got to stay up on what's cool this week or in these last couple weeks, and then you got to build on that. And it's just, to me, I don't know. It's tough. It's different. It's more. There's definitely a fashion-centric, almost athletically competitive side to that world of staying so on top of what's cool and what isn't. When in reality, what is cool anyway? There's a higher level that I think that can be sought after in any genre or in any medium or realm that transcends cool and is just, I guess, authentic is the word. I'd rather be authentic than cool, because authentic cuts through cool and leaves cool on the side of the road going, hey, what about me? Because authentic cuts to the core of who we are as human beings. And that really isn't changing, It's still, no matter how technologically advanced we are, it's still sad to see a puppy die, or it's still sad to have your heart broken. No matter how rich you are or how fast your internet speed is, it's about the humanity of everything and not getting too caught up in what's now and what's cool and what's hip and what's awesome or what's sick, whatever word you want to use, whatever trendy word you want to use. I don't even know what the most recent one is. Are people still saying things are sick? For a while they were saying they were stupid. I don't even know. I've tuned out, and I say that's, I still use the word cool. I might say, I never say something is extraordinary, or I don't say fantastic. Wonderful, even if I'm filled with wonder, I won't say something's wonderful. So even timeless words like that aren't timeless at all. Even though they should be probably used because they have a real nice definition. Like when I'm filled with wonder, I think I might just say wow. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been filled with wonder. No, it hasn't. Last night I was filled with wonder. There's a documentary called, my throat is very not clear. There's a documentary called Seasons, or Les Saisons. It's a French-made nature documentary, and it's on iTunes, and man, is it shot amazingly and edited and put together in a way that's just like it's different in a subtle, maybe it's the French thing, it's made by a bunch of French people obviously. And there's something about it. And then I noticed I was watching it with the brightness on my laptop turned down halfway. And when I turned it up all the way, I liked it less. So you might want to turn the brightness down, a little more moody. But this thing is ridiculous. They've obviously taken great care to not only get amazing shots and be in the right place at the right time, and probably do a lot of waiting around until the animal's doing the exact thing they hope they would do. Maybe they staged some things. I wouldn't put it past them, because they were trying to kind of tell a story, and then as the film goes on, you can see that they have this political agenda about, human beings have come and ruined the world for animals. But I kind of put that aside because there's such amazing artistry in the cinematography, the storytelling, the sensitivity to what's going on with each animal. They'll have like wild horses fighting each other and then chilling out and then getting chased by wolves, and then they'll have like a crow that's over the top of like watching this whole thing happen from above, and they're kept capturing all of this, not just in separate cuts, but like together. And then they'll, artfully put in a shot of maybe an owl in a tree looking at the whole thing going like, "Ew, I'm glad I'm not down there." But it's just the colorization of the footage, and just the cameras they used, and the lenses specifically. I think it's a really wide but not stretchy and distorted wide lens they used, or medium. And it's just amazing. It really brought me to a cool place mentally yesterday when I was watching it. I needed sort of a break from myself, and this thing was great. You'll have to sort of mentally edit out a couple things that happen. Spoiler alert. They're trying to tell us the story of kind of through seasons. They're trying to tell the story of kind of the history of nature in a way, and they build up to sort of when man starts to sort of chop away nature and do their thing, and the animals have to run away or change with people. And there's, it's slightly interesting. You go from seeing wolves for a little while to seeing like a domesticated dog, and you start to think like, wow, it's so interesting that every dog came from a wolf. Even the little pudgy dogs with the bulgy eyes that are tiny, or the, pocket pit bulls or whatever they have. But either way, at least the first half to maybe more than half, 3/5 of it is just mesmerizing. You just have to ignore the parts where they have like a little kid with dirty nappy hair, like watching from behind a tree. They only do it a couple times, but it's like, oh yeah, there's people around, but they're just like the animals. They're just hanging out, doing their thing. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what you think. Go watch it and put some comments below in the comment section. I'd appreciate that. It's good to see that people are listening and watching, because I look at the number and it's hard to think that that's people, separate people listening. So when I see somebody who's clicked a thumbs up or wrote a little comment, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, because then I can more easily appreciate that a person has actually listened to this nonsense. So do that. Do it for your old buddy Adam. So I don't know. Is this in the middle of the podcast, or is this the end? I could make this the end. Thanks for listening. Go watch that Les Saisons, or just Seasons, depending on where you're from, documentary. Check that thing out and let me know what you think. Choose your genes wisely. Watch some mixed martial arts from a new point of view. What else? Drink your coffee and kiss your loved ones good night, depending on who they are. Maybe just wave with a warm smile. All right. Thanks for listening. Love you guys. See you next time. And
I look, I feel, I listen. I'm only hearing my own voice, the echo of pointless. I try to force my weakness, release and prison slaves of choice. I couldn't avoid this. I should be something better. This bird ain't got no feathers, flying straight to the ground. I could be something better, seen through your eyes, forever floating, holy, leaving lonely alone. A crook, a thief, a liar, an honest man, all rolled in one. In theory I'm perfect. The love I feel is poisoned by judge and jury in my head. No law is anointed. I should be something better. This bird ain't got no feathers, flying straight to the ground. I could be something better, seen through your eyes, forever floating, holy, leaving lonely alone. I could be wrong, maybe I'm not so bad, and the road's just long. It's good luck, not what I've had. I'd like to believe this, ingest and receive this, but I'd be gone if I do, 'cause my lies are never true. I fill my heart with fire. I breathe the smoke of burning pain. Desire the cancer. I train my face to play out the fiction drama every day. I'm left disappointed.